All right, everybody. So before you get to this video, before we get this started, this is a special video that I did with some of my brothers, man. Some of the guys that I grew up with. They started themselves a podcast talking about basketball. I just want to let y'all know that in the beginning of the video, at least for the first half, the audio is going to be a little quiet on their side. I didn't realize when I was recording, I had the audio turned down, so I do apologize for that. But if you stick through and you really listen, you can hear them. But if you stick through and watch through the video, by the halfway point, you will see that I turned the audio up, realizing that it was low. But I hope you guys enjoy. I will leave a link down in the description to their podcast. Y'all be sure to go like their podcast, go subscribe and follow it. Oh, it's on Spotify. It's called the Give and Go Podcast with J Bro and Zero. Y'all be sure, spam them. Go listen to them, all right? Don't just listen to this episode with your boy. Go listen to all of it. But without further ado, man, let's get into the video.
Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to J Bro to Zero, where we run that give and go
all day.
And today, I'm going to give you guys our special guest. We've never had a guest on this show before, but we've got a special one lined up for today. I want to introduce my man, Apollo.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Apollo, but I am not rolling solo. I am honored to be here on J Bro Give and Go's podcast. Thank y'all so much for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. When we talked about this a few weeks ago, that doing this side gig, you got your YouTube channel going. We have
Yes, sir.
our podcast going. Why
Yes,
not
sir.
merge the two for a special episode?
Yes, sir.
We'll get you on. Maybe we'll be on a future video.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think it's a perfect marriage. You talk sports, so
Yes.
why not bring you on to talk some NBA?
Yes, definitely. I am so excited. Let's do this, guys. Just like the old days.
That's right. We used to, for all the listeners out there who don't know about Apollo, been our friend for, like 14, 15 years now.
Yeah,
It's
man.
been
A long time.
early high school.
Yeah, man. It
Yeah,
is.
we used to just sit around,
Now we're old
shoot
men.
the bull,
Yeah, we're old
hate
men.
on. Now we're old men.
We're old man now.
Talk sports. We're old men. That's
here,
right.
Here we go,
I mean,
man.
some of us haven't seen each other for years upon years, so this is like a family reunion, man.
It is a family reunion. It's good to see my brothers again. Missed you guys. Let's get into it though. Let's not hold up our
let's-
viewing audience
Let's get
here.
right into it.
Yeah.
So on today's show, we're going to discuss a little bit of breaking news right off the top.
Yes.
After we address that, we're going to go into an NBA Finals preview now that we have the two teams set.
Yes.
But before we get into that, I want to bring up, this is late breaking news as of not even an hour ago. We got a Woj bomb out of the NBA. The Los Angeles Clippers have fired head coach Doc Rivers
Wow.
after a disappointing second-round playoff exit against the Denver Nuggets.
Oofa.
So let's get right into it, guys. Is this the only domino to fall from the Clippers' disappointing season? What do you guys make of it? Your reactions?
I'll let go.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've heard some people say that I've heard multiple people say they think Doc Clippers, is coach in general. I don't know that I agree with them, but I'm not. On that note, though, I'm not necessarily shocked. The expectation was pretty much instantaneous championship,
Yeah.
and they always blame the coach first.
My take on this is what, his 7th year that he was been coaching this team. I mean, let's look back at the talent. That year Golden State broke through. That was supposed to be his year that the Clippers got over the hump. LeBron goes back to Cleveland. There's no Miami super team. Now it's just like wide open. The Spurs are old. Kobe is pretty much old. The Lakers aren't what they used to be. The Celtics have disbanded. That year was supposed to be the year the Clippers got over the hump, and they never could do it. So this is, I think, couple years overdue. Not surprised, but I'm surprised it took this long. I thought they would have done it like immediately the next day. So this is not a shocker to me, but I do not think this is Doc's last coaching job. I think he gets another gig somewhere, probably back in the East. But the Clippers, this is just the start of the falling dominoes. There's more to come. There's more to come because they got a lot of guys that are going to be free agents. I think Montrezl Harrell's going to be a free agent. He's going to want big money. We don't know what Lemon Pepper Lou's going to do. They need some, and they had all this depth. All these analysts said they had all this depth. I don't know, man. You had a 3-1 lead. You got 2 superstars. You close that out. This is on Kawhi. I don't care what nobody said. This is on Kawhi. That's my 2 cents. This is on Kawhi.
Yeah, you can make the argument that the Jazz, with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, they hadn't had the playoff experience that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George have had. They've had their battles in the East and the West.
Yes.
They haven't been tested like the Clippers superstars have. So, not that you can excuse the 3-1 lead that they blew in the first round, but the Clippers for sure have closed that out. They were the better team. They had more depth, supposedly. I was one of those who fell on that Clipper bandwagon, thinking they were going to go all the way, thinking they were going to beat the Lakers. So count me as shocked that they didn't close it out, get it done. I'm disappointed because I thought they could have given the Lakers a better shot than the Nuggets did. Though, I mean, there were some entertaining games there, but I would have loved to see Kawhi and LeBron go at it. We were robbed of that because Paul George kept hitting us on the side of the backboard and making lazy passes and not taking responsibility for his mistakes, according to Montrezl Harrell, who's probably Gio Apollo. He's going to get paid. He's probably going to go to the Knicks
and his career will die
and get hated there.
Yeah, his career will die.
We'll never hear from him again.
Never. I think the Clippers were overrated, to be honest. They overhyped them. They got Patrick Beverly, they got Lou Will, they got Reggie Jackson, Montrezl Harrell with Kawhi and PG. I'm like, okay, Kawhi. If they had Klay Thompson in that finals healthy, the Raptors may barely win. They had Kevin Durant, no shot at all. So I still don't think Kawhi is that guy. We know Paul George's reputation. We know that. I call him Bust P. He's not playoff. He's Bust P. Patrick Beverly has shown me nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta put some of this on the players,
Yeah, I'm not putting all this on Doc.
Yeah, the NBA is a coach-first skate league, but the players didn't come through. Playoff P, you put it perfectly. He was a bust. And Kawhi, he choked. And they all choked. Okay? Yep. And those role players, they gave them nothing. They did not step up. Harrell, I feel if I remember correctly, he averaged like 2 rebounds in that last series or something crazy like that. He didn't do it.
He was not ready for how
he
skilled.
Just flat out didn't show up at all.
Exactly. Jokic was way too skilled for him. Montrezl Harrell is just he's a scrappy guy. He's undersized. He's like a Ben Wallace, but less defensive. At least Ben Wallace was defensive. Montrezl Harrell he's a poor man's Ben Wallace with dreadlocks. That's all he is. Call me a hater, but hey, that's just how I feel. That's how I feel about Montrezl Harrell.
So wait, are you saying he's not Dennis Rodman?
No. Good God, no. No.
He's Dennis Rodman.
No. I would take I would No. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've seen some reports linking the Mavs to Harrell, saying he may be one of the guys they go after to get one of those dogs, quote unquote, around Luka.
No.
I'm thinking where's the money he's going to demand?
Let me speak for all 3 of us as Mavericks fans. No. Good God, no. Please don't. Stay far away from us. Yeah, exactly. Stay far away from us. Keep your behind over there or go to New York. And if we had to choose a modern-day Dennis Rodman, let's say we had to choose the scrappiest, best supporting player. I'm taking Draymond over Montrez all day, every day. I'm taking Draymond Green because he can do much more. But let me not take up most of y'all's time because I can go all day on this. Go all day.
No, and I think, listening to you guys are not against the change at coach. You
No.
know, obviously you can't
No.
get rid of the players. You can't just get rid of Paul George after 1 year.
Yeah,
so
you can.
You guys are on that. Doc should go. Well, you can, but
Yeah.
it's not as easy as just saying, Doc, get out of the room.
Look, Doc is a good coach, and he like Apollo said, he's gonna get another job. There's no doubt about that. But you know, the one championship Doc has, he had, you know, three Hall
of Famers.
Three.
Hall of Famers. Ever since then, what's he done?
And
You bring up a good point too. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Apollo, but
you're good.
Doc has had 3 different iterations of this Clippers team in the last few years that have really, you know, played well. They've had good teams. They just couldn't get over the hump. I remember them playing against the Rockets. They should have won that series to get to the Western Conference Finals. They didn't. They blew that.
Yeah.
I think it was a 3-1 lead.
It was a 3-1 lead, yeah. And remember, the Rockets started coming back when Harden was on the bench. They were up like 40 or something, and then they started coming back, and that was it. But this isn't the first time this happened. Remember when Doc was in Orlando with Tracy McGrady, they could not get out the first round. They would have 3-1 leads with T-Mac in his prime as a scoring machine. They could never get out the first round. And as a T-Mac fan, that hurts my heart so much. It hurts. But my question to you guys
He never
is...
really got out of the first.
He didn't. He did not. He never got out. Even when he went to the Spurs, he was on the injured reserve. He never got it.
Yeah.
So my question to you guys, who do the Clippers hire now? Who's out there to coach? Do they go get Mark Jackson or somebody else?
Ooh.
That's a good call, because if you want to go with the veteran coach, I mean, that's exactly what they have with Doc Rivers. I can't see them bringing in a young guy. I mean, I'm looking at a Tyronn Lue.
You think they'll elevate him?
I'm not a big Tyronn Lue fan, but I think he makes a lot of sense for them.
What about...
There's just not a lot of good names out there. Maybe Jeff. I know Jeff Van Gundy's name's been floated in some vacancies, but I can't see them bringing him back.
Mike D'Antoni?
I wonder if Jason Kidd will be looking again.
He might. You think? I was just going to ask, do
Could be.
you guys think they'll go the route that Brooklyn went and hire a former player, like a point guard? Because when you look at the Clippers, especially this year, their offense, it was dribble, Kawhi, pull up, mid-range. If he didn't make it, then he would just pass it, and they would just pass it around, just randomly. Paul George would shoot, or, you know, there was no real offense. It was like an amateur playing offense in 2K. You just took the star player, dribble, shoot, or, you know, if the lane's clogged, you just pass it around, hoping to find somebody open, and you just take random shots. There was no, what's the word I'm looking for? It just didn't make sense. There was no, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Yeah, exactly. There was no continuity.
There was no flow to it.
No
It was
flow.
the shot clock, and somebody just found a good shot. Yeah.
And
It
then
was an isolation heavy offense for sure, and especially when Denver started putting them on the ropes. That's just all they were doing was just dribble and clunkers at the end. And you know, that's why Brooklyn hired Steve Nash, is they wanted an offensive friendly coach. That's where the league is. You know, the league is about scoring right now, just like pretty much every league out there right now. They want offense, and Steve Nash is going to bring that creative mind. So maybe they'll go after a Jason type, or someone who has that savant level, you know, knowledge about the offensive game and the offensive flow of the NBA. Who would be better than a Jason Kidd type? You know? They need a jolt.
Yeah.
They were stagnant.
Very stagnant. Like, yeah.
You bring up Apollo, but I don't think they have the perimeter shooting for D'Antoni to want to take over this team. I mean, sure, you've got Kawhi and Paul George, who are good mid-range players, but they don't have enough three-point shooters.
Agreed.
For him to run his offense. You know, in Houston, he had PJ Tucker, he had Eric Gordon, he had James Harden. He had shooters all over the floor.
Agreed.
Russell Westbrook, but he had Chris Paul before that, who's a good three-point shooter.
Yeah, he's very
They
passable.
just don't have that kind of team.
Yeah, they built this roster as it was a Doc friendly roster. It was defense first. It was grinders and dogs and
Yeah, if this was like 2008, but this isn't 2008. This is now. This is 2020.
and they didn't have 3 Hall of Famers.
Exactly, because
Leon Poe.
no, you're good. I'm just gonna say, yeah, Kevin Garnett won at that championship. Ray Allen was still a lethal shooter. Paul Pierce, believe it or not, was an elite player. So that team, and you had Rondo, who was very, very intelligent IQ in basketball. Then you had Big Perk in the middle. Like that team worked in 2008. That team today probably will not get out the second round. Maybe in the East, but with how people shoot. Go ahead.
You're saying Leon Poe and Brandon Bass aren't walking through that door?
They might.
Scalabrini.
Yo, Scab. Yo, Scab. Scalabrini's just sitting at home waiting like. Just
Somebody call me.
Twiddling his fingers. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think we'll hear in the next few days who's going to emerge as the leading candidates for the Clippers job. I don't think this is going to be a job that stays open very long.
No.
And, before we get into our NBA Finals predictions and take, who do you obviously Doc is going to have a job. We have already discussed this. Where do you see him going? Because there's still a few coaching vacancies out there. Because I've got mine. I know where he's going.
Okay, call me crazy, but I see Milwaukee. I know it's crazy. Milwaukee, Portland, and
so you think they're going to scrap their coaches?
I think so.
I think it's possible in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee,
Wow.
Yeah, for a more big name coach, and then outside, I don't know.
Or could you see him trying to bring a defensive mindset to the Rockets?
Ooh. He said no.
I know where he's going. He's going to Philly, y'all. Let's not overthink this. Will Embiid, Ben Simmons.
Whoa,
he's gonna try to turn them around.
Now here's the issue.
That would be their last stand. If they can't get it to work with Rivers, then you gotta trade one of those guys.
Now Ben Simmons is not the type of perimeter player that Doc likes. So will that work? Sorry to cut you off, man.
Yeah, he's not a good perimeter player, but he is a good defender. So I think Doc can work with that, and he wants to is a good defender. So maybe Doc can light a fire of consistency under Embiid, because that's the problem there. That's the problem with that whole team is consistency, really.
Well,
with,
I think
a little bit of.
I think Embiid needs to consistently stay in shape. He doesn't take care of his body. We're not asking him to be like LeBron, but take some pride and take care of yourself so your talent isn't wasted because you're not taking care of your diet. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Take care of yourself and bring this team and city a championship. Because you're the leader of that team, Embiid.
There are fewer things seeing less in the NBA than Joel Embiid jogging down the court, pulling up at the three-point line, getting a pass, and just letting it go. Like, he's just that's his sign of I give up.
Exactly. Yes.
He's like the only center. He's like the only center left in the league that can be a true back-to-the-back, pound it down center. And there's no reason he shouldn't utilize that. He's got every move in the book down low. He should not be shooting three.
He's a handful. He could average 30 and 15 in his sleep.
He could. Now, this is something random I just thought of before we move on. How well does Joel Embiid do against a prime Dwight Howard? Like Orlando Magic Dwight Howard.
Dwight's got him.
You think so? Yeah.
Dwight's got him.
He's just
I
too...
think so, and I think Orlando at that time, they had enough mobile bodies where if Joel Embiid wants to do his thing on the perimeter, they can switch it up. And then Dwight can patrol the middle of the paint, because back then Dwight was by far the best defensive big in the game for
Dwight was a
5-6 year stretch.
Yeah.
Dwight was a turd, but he played hard, man.
That Orlando team would have fit perfect in today's game because they had a true dominant big man, nothing but snipers on the outside, and Turkoglu could ball handle.
Yep.
Like that was the squad right there.
It was the team.
That was a team. I think they would be. If you had Mike D'Antoni with that team, whoo! Oh man, yeah, points scored, points scored. But are we ready to talk some finals, y'all? Come on,
We're ready to.
I'm ready.
Speaking of Dwight Howard, let's get to the NBA Finals, just like Dwight did.
I know.
So last night we had the Celtics bow out to the Miami Heat in 6. So that makes the matchup officially Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, starting Wednesday nights.
Wow.
Who you guys got? What do you guys think about this one?
I'll go last. Go ahead.
Oh man, I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant to bet against the Heat again. I bet against them in pretty much every series, and they keep taking it to whoever they got, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost like a sin for my Mavs fan heart to pick the Heat in anything. I gotta say the Lakers look like pretty machine-like right now. They look pretty dominant and hard to stop right now.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis if he hadn't already arrived, he has arrived.
Yeah.
Now. He's a legit top 5 NBA player.
Yes.
And they have just such a good defense. They have great role players. I mean, to have Rondo on, as a role player, that's, what a luxury.
Yes.
They took away the Nuggets any fight the Nuggets had left in them, any special Cinderella moments. They were just like, no, we're better than you. And they were better than everyone. And I think they're better than the Heat. As good as the Heat have been, and as exciting as the Heat are with young players like Hero and such, I think the Lakers will just will their way to victory with defense and talent. So I will take the Lakers in 6.
I like that. Let's see. Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra. Man, that's a good team. Lakers in 5. I will give the Heat one game. And when I mean one game, they're going to win that by the skin of their teeth because they're so unpredictable. They will sneak in one. But I don't know if you guys saw at the end of the Western Conference Final, this right here told me LeBron is hungry. When they showed the team celebrating, LeBron was sitting down and he had that look in his eyes like he did in Game 6. LeBron is focused. He is ready. He's going to snatch out the heart of his old team. I don't care how much of a dog Jimmy Butler is, or how much hair he has, or how much of a hero Tyler is. The Lakers are going to win this series in 5 games. Now, every game is going to be close. I don't see no blowouts. Like, LeBron's going to have to do what he did in the fourth quarter in that Game 6 or Game 5 against the Nuggets. Every game against the Heat, if they're going to win. But it's going to be close. But I see Lakers winning in 5, an average of maybe 6 points at the most. At the most.
All right. Let's pump the brakes a little. I think you guys are getting a little too ahead of yourselves with this Lakers in 5, Lakers in 6 nonsense. Get out of here. First of all, Apollo, you bring up LeBron, which I don't know if we're going to get into it on this podcast. I don't know if we have enough time left in the day. It's only 6 o'clock, but I don't know if we have 6 more hours to get through. I despise, and you despise LeBron. Talk about LeBron being hungry, sitting on the floor like this isn't it. Is he going to stay hungry? He might have been hungry for about 5 minutes. He ate some tacos and then decided he wasn't hungry anymore.
I mean, they're feeding him.
Is he going to stay like that for the entirety of the series? Because that's the thing with LeBron. He lets up, and he's like, oh, I got this. I'm going to go into cruise control. And what happens next? Teams lose, and it's all on other players' backs. It's not ever on LeBron. LeBron never takes any responsibility for any mess ups he has or any letting go of leads or miss assignments, miss shots. It's everybody else, and when they win, it's LeBron taking all the credit. Which I can't stand about the man. So I want to get that out of the way first.
And with that being said,
second of all,
Lakers in 5.
No. Second of all, I'll get to it. Second of all, Anthony Davis should have arrived 3 years ago.
Agreed.
So he's just now arriving. I mean, yeah, we've seen this stuff before. I just don't know if he can sustain. It's like he's like a turtle. He doesn't look like a turtle, but he acts like a turtle. He'll come out, act real tough, snap at you. You think this turtle's ready to go. He's got some fight in him. But as soon as you start wanting to spar with that turtle, fight him back, he hides back in his shell. I see him, maybe having a good game 1 or game 2, and then the rest of the series not getting much from him. I haven't seen it enough. I'm not convinced. He should be the best player on the Lakers right now, with LeBron being 36 years old, 17th season. But he hasn't claimed that mantle. You look at the end of Game 6, or Game 5, because it only went to 5. You look at the end of Game 5, Lakers and Nuggets. Who was closing that game? LeBron. Mid-range jumper after mid-range jumper after mid-range jumper. That 3 at the end, he's the one who sealed it. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis was just sitting there in the corner like, oh, LeBron, I'm over here. I'm not convinced Anthony Davis is arrived. He's by far, one of the top 5 talents in the league. And at his best, he might even be the best player in the league. But he hasn't shown enough consistently for me to say, this is his series, this is his team, then the Lakers are going to win in 5. I have the Lakers in 6. All that being said,
I know. All that being
I wanted
said,
to pick the Heat so bad.
I mean, the Heat would be a nice.
That tells you a lot that despite all that, they're just that talented. They're still gonna win.
Here's the thing. Okay, so I got 2 points here. So here's 1 point. What is the story to be told? LeBron is playing his former team, and there is no Dwayne Wade, no Chris Bosh. He's not there. Shane Battier's gone. Ray Allen's gone. All that whole team is gone. I mean, here is Miami. 6 years later, back in the finals with no LeBron. What does this say about LeBron's legacy? If he loses to his old team, and then do we get all those Miami bandwagon fans back? Because I want to know where they at right now. I don't see them yet.
You don't get them back. They're wearing Lakers and Clippers shirts out in California.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it's gonna to LeBron's legacy as much as it will Spo's and Pat Riley's for the job they've done to rebuild that team, because that team after LeBron left, they weren't bad, but they weren't good. They were barely making the playoffs. They barely missed. They didn't have Dwayne Wade was past his prime. They had Chris Bosh for a couple years. They were kind of in a between phase. They weren't going to rebuild, but they weren't contending at the time either. They've done a great job of nailing their draft picks, which they never had a top pick, but top lottery pick. They had the Jimmy Butler trade, which did wonders for them. Bam wasn't a top pick. He was lottery, but he wasn't like a top 5.
Exactly.
And picking up guys off the scrap heap like Duncan Robinson out of the G League, undrafted, pickups like that and trades with veteran guys, Iguodala, Jay Crowder, you've got friggin' Kelly Olynyk. He's not playing anymore, but he's played some good minutes for them. You just add up all these guys, and Goran Dragic. I didn't even mention him. He was a holdover from the post LeBron Heat. Yeah, he played with Dwayne Wade. He's probably the longest tenured Heat besides UD, obviously, but UD hasn't played in about 5. So they've done a great job in just rebuilding, getting pieces here and there, and putting it all together. Get the star player, not a superstar, because I don't think Jimmy Butler's a top 10 talent, but he's good enough to be a number 1 with enough around him. Yes. They've just done a great job. I think it speaks more to them than LeBron. What do you say about that, Zero?
Yeah, I gotta say 2 things. First, you took my second point. I agree completely. What it speaks to more than anything is the level of organization. I hate to say it, the level of organization that the Miami Heat are. I mean, they just get it done, man. They just keep rebuilding and very quickly, and here they are again. Pat Riley is a mastermind, and I think people are starting to notice because he was in the shadows during the big three of LeBron, Bosh, and Wade. But I think people are starting to notice that Spoelstra is a coach and a mastermind in his own way.
Yes.
And the other thing that this series speaks to, as far as LeBron, to me, speaks to how disloyal he is.
What?
I mean, that will just not stop hopping around to new teams. I mean, good Lord, pick a team and stick with it. He's the poster boy for the modern NBA superstar who just can't. The modern NBA superstar who are the opposite of Dirk and Tim Duncan. They stick with the team and grind out the bad years and earn the good years, for sake, man. But
I agree.
Here he is, team hopping again and ring chasing again with another contender.
But I mean,
I think LeBron's one of the best players of all time, but I think there's some stains on his legacy, and loyalty is one of them.
I mean, he brought Cleveland a championship, so he fulfilled his promise. So does that not give him the right to, at this point later in his career, ring chase? Because he didn't have a dominant run like Jordan did. Jordan's situation. See, here's the problem. We compare everybody to what Jordan and Kobe did. They stuck it out. They went through the bad times, and they were there for the good times, and they showed up when it mattered most. LeBron tried to stick out in Cleveland. I think he did quit in that series against Boston before he left. He choked against the Mavericks, but hey, it helped us out. And then he should have beat the Spurs back-to-back. But that second time when they played Spurs and they lost 4-1, he quit. He should have beat the Warriors the first time. I don't care that he had Matthew Dellavedova. The Warriors were not the team yet. They weren't ready. They weren't at that level yet. He should have beat them, which means he should right now. LeBron should have right now 5 championships at the least right now. So this is his fault. He only has 3. But my question is, if Jimmy Butler and the Heat win this title, what does this do for Jimmy Butler's legacy? Does this put him in the conversation as a top 5 player, or will this be more of a progression for legacy, as in, like y'all said, Pat Riley or Eric Spoelstra?
Well, I mean, Jimmy has, I think he's taken huge strides and huge steps with the Miami Heat. He's been known as kind of a locker room cancer these last few years, and he just seemed like no matter what team he went to, he was causing drama and causing issues. But this year, he's been busy. Busy. He's been businesslike.
Oh, he's been busy.
He's been humble. He's been team first. And if you watch the way he plays, he's team first. He's almost too unselfish. He's passing that rock around like he doesn't even want to shoot. So he's taking huge steps. But as far as a legacy, I don't know. I don't know that he's that kind of player. I don't know that he's cemented much of a legacy yet. Now, if he finds a way to win this series, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If he puts the team on, that's a different story. But Jimmy's a very good player. I don't know if I'm him in the great category, though.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys there. I don't think Jimmy can be considered a top 5 talent, not because he's not worthy talent-wise. From a talent standpoint, you look at guys who play both sides of the ball. He's clearly still in the top 10, even though he's getting up there in years, and nobody talks about his defense. Or he's still up there as one of the best two-way players in the league.
Agreed.
And the reason I don't think he's going to get that recognition as a top 5 guy, because he doesn't put up the numbers. He has been a little bit more passive. He's been deferring to Bam. Bam has been a monster this postseason.
Amazing.
If you look at the numbers, you would say Bam is the Heat's best player, but Jimmy still drives that train. Without Jimmy, Bam can't be Bam. Tyler Hero, he might be Tyler Hero light, but he wouldn't be Tyler Hero 37 points in a playoff game. Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero's riding shotgun. I don't care. He's the one hanging out the window, catcalling the chicks. That's Tyler Hero. That's what he's doing right now.
But as far as a legacy from Jimmy, I think if he's able to pull it off, they are clearly underdogs going into this series,
Yes.
at least according to us. If he's able to win it for the Heat, I think he would be. It would better build his case to being in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I'm just going to come out and say I think, once you build those All-Star appearances, All-NBA, and you got the ring, at that point it's like, okay, you've had a consistent enough 15-year career, we can put you in the Hall of Fame. You weren't ever considered the best, or may not even been the best player on your team for 4 or 5 years, but you are Hall of Fame worthy in the NBA. So I think if he's able to pull this off, then I think he's got a better chance to get in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, I know that sounds kind of dumb, but if he doesn't pull it off, I think
agree.
he's got a long shot to get in.
I agree 100%. This helps his case as a solid, maybe not first ballot, but he'll get in it if he pulls this off.
Yeah, he'll probably get in.
He'll get in. He pulls this off.
Yeah, as it stands, he's kind of somewhere in that borderline area. Not quite Hall of Famer-esque, but close.
Yeah.
But pull off this monumental upset, be a different story.
Exactly.
Definitely. And okay, so before we close this thing out, take the pulse of the room. Are we wanting the Heat? Are we cheering for the Heat? And I know, Colby, you've still got animosity for the Heat because of LeBron, D-Wade, specifically, and Coach Spo. But I've suddenly gone from hating the Heat to not disliking them at all. I'm pulling for them this series. I'm gonna say I'm hoping they beat the Lakers.
I mean, I don't like anyone in this series.
Thank you. Oh man.
AD is not likable. LeBron is not likable. In fact, the only likable guys in this series are some of the role players, like Tyler Hero. He's fun to watch. He's just got supreme confidence. He's fun to watch. Yeah, I always liked Jay Crowder when he was with the Mavs.
Yeah.
So I enjoy watching him. So, I can't say I would hate it if the Heat pulled off the upset.
I'm not particularly cheering for anyone. I want a good series, but I want a competitive series. And
yeah,
as much as I want to say I want to see LeBron win so he does get that title, and the Lakers get this for Kobe, I will not be surprised if the Heat win. I am not sleeping on Miami Heat. I am not sleeping on Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra or Pat Riley. They've been cooking up some in Miami, and now they about to serve up some fresh hot ales to the Lakers. If the Lakers do not bring their A game, they will lose this series. This is not Denver. That's
a good point.
LeBron better have that Game 6 look at Boston for 5 games, because Lakers in 5.
All right, so Apollo's got Lakers in 5. Zero, you got Lakers in 6, right?
Correct.
I'm also saying Lakers in 6. I think LeBron screws around for a game and a half. They lose 2, and ultimately it doesn't matter because they're the better team.
He said screws around.
So he might, he might had to just walk back on defense. I don't know. Start yelling at Rondo.
Screw around to get a triple-double.
Yeah.
Today was a good day. All right. Well,
it was a good day because it's good to see you, Apollo, and it's always good to talk basketball with.
It's good to see you guys,
friends. And
hey, I have.
It was a lot of fun doing this.
It was. I have ideas. I'm gonna get you guys on one of my podcasts. I got a great idea for you guys, but I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Don't want to spoil it.
All right, and before we go, I want to plug Apollo's YouTube channel. It's Apollo Unfiltered, right?
Yes, sir.
YouTube.com/Apollo Unfiltered. I'll put it in the description of this show. And
yes, sir.
You guys definitely check him out. If you like, he does a lot of NFL stuff, Cowboys reactions. He also talks about NBA.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about everything. You got workout videos, you got gaming videos. So if you just like fun, follow Apollo Unfiltered on YouTube.
And the key word is unfiltered, guys. So Don't come to my channel and you start hearing me talk. And you're like, oh my God, unfiltered. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just a crazy old veteran that likes to play the games, and I got reaction videos coming with the wife. This is going to be fun. But thank you guys so much for having me. It's good to see you guys again. We're all grizzly old men up here.
We'll have to do this more often. We'll have to do it
Yes.
more often. I was going to say this summer, but I guess it'll be winter when the NBA is in off season. We can have more shows like this.
Yes, definitely. We got to get you guys on and talk about those Cowboys of ours too.
Woo, boy.
Oh, man. Hot mess.
Hot mess.
We ain't got enough time for that, man.
No, we don't. Not today.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us. Hope you like it. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. That's the only option. I think that's the only option I'm allowed to give you guys is 5 stars. If you don't pick 5 stars, you just can't rate us.
Or you got to come see me.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Spotify. We're on iTunes Music Store, Google Play Store. So go ahead and just give us a listen and let us know what you think about our man Apollo. And I'll plug an email address so you guys can get back to us. We're also on Instagram. I'll plug that too. We've mentioned that a couple times. So with that, my name is J-Bro.
This is your boy C-Ro.
And I am Apollo.
And we just ran that give, and go.
All night.